So I've had an incredibly long day, and I just got home and it's insanely fucking hot in here. I turned on my air conditioner, but that'll take a while. Took a nice cool shower to refresh me because I just have to make a video. Now normally I wouldn't make a video, but I have this story that I've been dying to get off of my chest for a while, but I haven't been able to. To explain, a lot of people think that I don't have principles, and with regard to whatever silly shit they call principles, they're probably right. But there is one principle that I have, which is I don't share information that was shared with me in private. I keep a confidence, I guess you could say. In my line of work, it's pretty important to learn how to keep secrets, which is why you don't even know what my line of work is. Anyway, as it just so happens, I've had a bit of conspiracy with another YouTuber. I like to say conspiracy, even though it's just the two of us. And conspiracies do fall under private information, so I haven't been able to say anything, and the smarter of you will probably have already figured this out. You know what? It is seriously fucking hot. I'm gonna go get some booze for this. It's a story. Ice cold, delicious, and boozy. Anyway, back to what I was saying. As my good fortune would have it, my co-conspirator is the worst co-conspirator ever, and she, shared online some private dialogue that we had. And, it's the Femitheist Divine, and you should go check out those tweets, because it makes me look like a totally mentally unstable psycho. Yeah. But the good news is, within my own odd ethical paradigm, I can now tell this story that I've been dying to tell. And I can, for the first time today, because she tweeted all that shit last night. I've only shared it with a couple people, the people that she ran her mouth off to so far, but now that it's public information, I'm sorry. I'm very excited. Onward I go. Now, a while back, I made this video about the Femitheist Divine. I can't remember exactly what it was called. Like, is this bitch for real? I don't think she's on the level, or something like that. So I make this video about her because I don't think that she seriously believes any of that shit she's saying. It's inconsistent with all of her mannerisms. My point is, she started emailing me after I made that video. Or not emailing me, PMing me on YouTube. So I'm like, I don't know why she's doing this, but you should never turn down a potential contact or friend. So I'm like, oh, yeah, interesting. And, whenever she puts out a new video, she'd send me a PM, like, I just made this new video. And on one she said, I just made this new video, please don't respond to it. And I'm thinking, I think she's probably testing me to see if I'm trustworthy, and what I'm going to do is what I was going to do anyway and not respond to it, which was easy to do because I didn't watch the video, but I figured I might win points with her. So then I start getting really bored of YouTube. Actually, I've been getting bored of YouTube for quite some time now, and Krista, after I didn't comment, make a video about that video she told me not to make a video about, she PMs me more, and we have conversations, and she kisses my ass a lot, and I hate to admit it, but if you kiss my ass a lot, you'll win me over. Now, don't get me wrong, just like a passing compliment won't do, but if you just kiss my ass and you're really dedicated about that shit, like just consistently, with perseverance, kiss my ass, you'll win me over a little. True. And a lot of the MRAs who have had dealings with Krista are familiar with her doing this. She'll, PM you up, be like, oh, you're so smart, you're so funny, da-da-da-da-da. And, she's like, and, I think you're funny even though you made that mean video to me. And I was like, it wasn't mean, I was just saying I don't think you're on the level. And FYI, I seriously don't think you're on the level. So, I mean, she'll go on about how she's harassed in real life. And I was like 90% sure that was total bullshit. And I am at this point 100% sure that was bullshit. I'm sorry. I digress. Oh, and so I made my video with the MRM and how they should get together with the Femitheist Divine, because it's literally the last thing anybody would expect video-wise, because MRAs almost universally hate Krista, so it's really funny for me to suggest that they work together and that they have mutual goals. Because things are pretty funny when they're unexpected, and I think I did a pretty good job of demonstrating that they did have common goals. Now, I send a PM to Girl Rights Watch, but she has not betrayed my confidence, so I can't disclose the details of what she said about anything. But I will say that I said, I have been talking to Krista via PMs. We've become rather friendly, because I have a little bit of a plan forming in my mind. If the right elements fall into place, I can put it into action. It's just sort of a contingency. So, then, Krista's channel gets flagged down like a motherfucker, and I am there for her. I'm very supportive. I'm like, this opportunity knocking, snake. So, I'm like, I make videos like, this is bullshit. It's bullshit that the Femitheist Divine got her ass flagged. Show some real loyalty is what I do, because I have a plan. During this time that she's without her channel, I suggest to her that the two of us should have a partnership of sorts. That we should support each other's channels, yada yada yada. And I'm going to be honest here, that was a proximate goal to, increase my subscribers, especially increase her subscribers, for a very simple reason. What I was later going to do is, after making Krista very famous on YouTube, I was then going to use that as leverage to get Girl Rights Watch, or as I call her, Karen, to have sex with me. Now, I know, you're like, Snake, you could have any woman you wanted. Like I said, it takes persistent flattery, don't bullshit me. But the thing is, there are very few women like Karen. She's very intelligent, she's very good at planning, she's very persuasive, and she's almost always right about shit. And you'd think being right would be persuasive naturally, but it generally isn't. Being both right and persuasive and a leader and popular, that shit turns me on. Now, excuse the hell out of me for being a man, having needs and standards, and developing a bold plan to fulfill those needs within those standards. Back to what I was saying with Krista, though. So, I make those videos supporting her. She gets her YouTube channel back, and at this... I'd been discussing how she should support me, because it would really build a lot of solidarity with the MRM, and most of my subscribers are MRAs. And that was part of my long-term plan, to merge her with MRAs, thus demonstrating my male utility to Karen, and then she would be like, well, if he can do that for that sack of hammers, what can he do for me? La-da-da, we'd have sex. Anyway. What I did was, now this might shock you to learn, I, using another account, talked to those pesky dames, and what I did was I convinced them, especially Subi and Becca, that they had every right to flag my videos for privacy. I was like, this jackass, he shows your faces without your permission, yada yada yada. It actually took a while, but fortunately they are very stupid and malleable, and they did flag my videos, and on one of those videos I made sure to include some effusive flattery of Krista, thus advancing my Krista domination plan, because once those videos were flagged, what I did was I had to I don't care what happens to my channel, c'est la vie. Now, I figure, because many of my subscribers are MRAs, they will see these heavy-handed censorship tactics of those pesky dames and of their own accord mirror my videos. I would have just asked, but I've learned that if I ask my subscribers for shit, they absolutely fucking fall through. You lazy fucking bastards. So yeah, I had to employ a bit of a ruse, excuse me. It was for a lofty and laudable goal, though, and it did work, so I think that's the final justification for that. Anyway, what it did was, because there was that effusive flattery of Krista that specifically said how she is different and better than feminists, it distinguishes the Femitheist brand from that tired, used-up feminist brand we all hate so much. And this is, of course, an integral part of the Femitheist domination plan, which is, of course, an integral part of the me making sweet love to Girl Rights Watch plan. I realize that a plan this complex with this many moving parts doesn't necessarily have the greatest chance to succeed, but I was getting bored with YouTube, getting tired of making those videos I always make, getting ready to get out of the business anyway because I would soon be beautiful, and I thought, what have I got to lose, really? Now, I didn't actually think that Krista would pull through on any kind of realistic partnership, and in fact, she got her channel back, and she starts talking about making these other videos, and I'm like, bitch, you gotta make a Those Pesky Dames video about me, right? Because, what are you, fucking stupid? So, even though it would be in her best interest, she's too narcissistic to see that she should make a video against Those Pesky Dames supporting me. Now, this actually is a two-prong necessity. One, it establishes that she thinks well of me, so that I don't come off as a mangina. You see, because my ability to sell her, the Femitheist, as a brand is dependent upon me not coming off as a mangina. Although, for certain types of manginas, I can sell that particular story. But you can sell downward to mangina, but if you're perceived as a mangina, you can't sell upward toward, you know, manly go-getter. So, and this is kind of embarrassing how many times I've had to ask her and how many times she fucking fell through. I made it clear that she needs to portray me in sort of a sexy and dangerous light to prevent said manginification, which would nullify my ability to sell the Femitheist domination plan. Of course, even though it's so fucking simple and I explained it to her in a great number of goddamn ways, she still didn't manage to do it. And now I explained it logically. I explained it, like, emotionally. And eventually I just got fed up and I said, you know what? I am not getting what I want out of this relationship. Basically, the entire plan stalled because I couldn't make her any more famous, popular, and likable without an unavoidable manginification. And, you know, one, I don't want people going around saying, look at Snake, like some blonde girl's mangina. I mean, that would be bad, but the main thing is, at that point I could no longer advance my entire plan. And what's the point of even going on if that's not going to happen? And I gave her every opportunity to, you know, do this. I've explained it so many ways. So, you know, I eventually just kind of blew up on her on Twitter, and she just happened to, you know, share those tweets. I had no way of predicting that, except of course, you know, she does kind of do that a lot with people, so, yeah. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, but, you know, it's been a fun ride, you know, I really enjoyed this. I mean, I guess I really wanted to say, fellas, I'm sorry about the ruse. This whole Krista becoming popular and suddenly saying sane and agreeable things, it's all just kind of been part of a plan to get me laid. Oh, and the ironclad moral justification for all of this? YOLO, bitches. YOLO.